You waiting for someone to call, waiting for a chance, a break, someone to knock on your door and say, "Hey, it's your turn now. Let me be real with you, that moment isn't coming. Life doesn't hand out opportunities. It dares you to take them. It doesn't knock. It doesn't wait. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It watches what you do when nobody's watching. If you're sitting there thinking, they haven't noticed me yet, ask yourself, have you given them anything worth noticing?" People talk about luck, about timing, about fate, but here's what no one tells you. Opportunity is created by people who stop waiting and start building. While others scroll, you study. While they sleep, you show up. While they doubt, you move, and that movement, that fire, that discipline, that's what creates chances. This speech isn't for the ones waiting. It's for the ones who are done waiting. You don't need a spotlight. You don't need applause. You need the will to start with nothing and the fire to keep going when you've got nothing left. I'm going to give you 8 truths, not theories, not motivational fluff. Truths, each one forged in real struggle, each one tested in real life, each one a blueprint to build your own opportunity with your own bare hands. So let's go. This is your moment, not to be chosen, but to choose yourself. 3 a.m. The world is asleep. The streets are quiet, not a soul in sight. You're sitting there, no money, no followers, no fancy gear, no rich uncle handing you $1 million shot. Just you and a choice. Do you get up and build something from nothing, or do you close your eyes and wait for someone to come fix it for you? This is where most people fold. They look at what they don't have and they freeze. I don't have the connections. I don't have the equipment. I don't have the degree. So they do nothing. They wait. They waste time convincing themselves they're not ready. But here's the truth that nobody wants to hear: you're never going to feel ready. And the people who win, they never waited to be ready. They started with whatever was in front of them: busted phone, cool, record with it, one client, treat them like gold, a single skill, sharpen it like a blade until the world has to pay attention. You don't need more gear, you don't need more praise, you don't need more time. You need to look around and say, this is what I've got, I'll make it work. Because the person who wins isn't the one who has more, it's the one who uses more of what they already have. There's a guy I know, didn't grow up rich, shared a room with 3 siblings, never saw a new pair of shoes until he was 14. But he had one thing, obsession. He wanted to learn design, had no laptop. So he'd go to the local library, use their slow computers for 1 hour a day, every day for 3 years, and guess what? He built a portfolio that landed him freelance gigs, then a job, then his own company. He didn't wait for $200 MacBook. He took a dusty monitor and got to work. That's the difference between the talkers and the doers. Talkers wait for conditions to be perfect. Doers take imperfect action and make it count. You know how a lion hunts. It doesn't say, I wish I had more light, a better breeze, or a softer surface. No, it sees a chance and it moves. Opportunity doesn't come to the one who wants it. It comes to the one who's already moving like they deserve it. When I started, I didn't have a blueprint, didn't have a mentor, didn't have the applause, but I had hands, I had pain, I had hunger, and hunger is louder than circumstance. So many people today are staring at their phones, comparing themselves to people who have already built something. And what they don't realize is the people they're watching once started with nothing too. No one was born at the top. They clawed their way up with broken tools, duct tape dreams, and a belief that said, I may be broke, but I'm not broken. And that's what it's about, starting with what you've got. Not making excuses, not waiting to be discovered, just doing the damn work like your life depends on it, because maybe it does. So the next time you say, I can't do this because I don't have enough, replace it with, I'll figure it out with what I've got. Start messy. Start loud, start invisible, start small, but for the love of everything you believe in, start. Because when you do, the universe moves out of your way, people take notice, doors begin to creak open. Not because you were lucky, but because you were ready to work when no one else would. So stop waiting for more. You already have what you need to take the first step. Now take it. You've got dreams, plans, ideas bigger than your environment. You see things in your head that nobody around you understands, and for a long time, that silence, that lack of validation eats at you. You start to wonder, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not built for this, but let me say this loud and clear. If you don't believe in yourself before anyone else does, you'll never make it. Nobody is coming to pick you. No one's going to knock on your door and say, "Hey, I think you've got potential." This world rewards the ones who had the guts to bet on themselves when everyone else saw nothing. Every champion, every icon, every self-made success story started the same way, alone. Alone in their thoughts, alone with their doubts, and one decision turned the tide. I'm going all in. On me. You see, the world only bets on those who already act like they're worth the risk. You want people to support your business, then act like it already matters. You want a team to believe in your vision, then show up like it's already $1 billion idea. It's not about being arrogant. It's about being certain. Certain that no matter the noise, no matter the failure, no matter the delays, you are not quitting on you. People will doubt you. People will walk away. People will laugh. Good, let them, because while they're laughing, you'll be working. While they're watching, you'll be building. And one day, the same people who questioned you will be the ones quoting you. Let me give you something real. There's a woman I met. She was told her whole life she wasn't good enough, too loud, too different. She wanted to start a fashion line, but nobody would invest. So she took a minimum wage job, saved everything she could, and made her first 10 t-shirts by hand. She sold them at a street corner, day after day, no sales, but she believed in her designs. She wore them, lived them, promoted them like they were already global. Fast forward 5 years. She's now the founder of a fashion brand that ships to 30 countries. And guess what? Those same people who said it'll never work, now they're asking her for jobs. That's what happens when you bet on yourself first. You have to be your own hype man, your own coach, your own support system. Because when it's quiet, when nobody's clapping, when no one sees what you're building, you still have to keep swinging. Self-belief is like a muscle. You build it by showing up, repeating the reps, taking the hits, and never backing down. If you wait for someone else to crown you, you'll die in the waiting room. So build your own throne, forge your own lane, stand tall even when your knees shake. Because once you learn to believe in yourself when no one else does, no rejection can break you. No silence can shake you. No failure can stop you. They'll say you got lucky. Nah, you got disciplined. You got determined. You got dangerous. So here's the truth. You either spend your life waiting to be chosen, or you show the world you already chose yourself. Make the bet and back it up every damn day. There's something powerful that happens when you start working like you've already made it, even when no one knows your name. That mindset, it's rare, it's dangerous. It's the difference between being seen and being unstoppable. Too many people are waiting for someone to notice them before they give their best, waiting to be hired before they act professional, waiting to be paid before they perform, waiting for recognition before they grind like a champion. And that's why they never get there. You want to build opportunity, then start acting like you've already arrived, not because you're faking it, but because you're becoming it. You want to be a speaker. Then speak every day to the mirror, to your phone, in your journal, in empty rooms, because the stage isn't what makes you great, your discipline does. You want to be a CEO, then organize your day like a CEO. Make decisions, manage time, handle pressure like someone who already runs an empire, even if right now you're just managing your studies or your side hustle. Because here's the truth. No one gives you more until you prove you can handle what you already have. Look at the greats. Before the world gave them applause, they were grinding like machines in silence. There's a man you may have heard of. Years ago, he worked as a dishwasher at a restaurant. Every night after his shift, he'd sneak into the back office and use the old computer to study how businesses are built. While his friends partied, he studied. While others wasted time, he prepared. One day, the owner noticed his drive and offered him a spot in management. 10 years later, he bought that same restaurant chain. He didn't wait to be promoted to act like a leader. He acted like a leader, and then he got promoted. That's the mindset. You don't need the title. You don't need the crowd. You just need the work ethic that matches the future you say you want. Here's what you have to understand. The world moves for the person who moves first, the person who shows up early, stays late, delivers without being asked. That's who wins every time, because when opportunity finally shows up, and it doesn't knock politely. It storms in and asks, have you been preparing or pretending? If you've been preparing, you won't flinch. You'll already be moving, but if you've been waiting to start, you'll freeze. That's the test. Most people fail not because they weren't good enough, but because they waited too long to start acting like it. So here's what I want you to do. Work like someone's already watching, even if they're not. Train like your future depends on it, because it does. Build like your dream is already breathing, because it's waiting for you to give it life. This isn't about being loud. It's about being intentional. It's about proving not to the world, but to yourself that you are who you say you are. The truth is, you're either preparing for your opportunity, or you're preparing to miss it. So ask yourself, if your big break came tomorrow, are you ready? If the door opened tonight, would you walk through it with confidence? If the world said, show me what you've got, would you choke or would you deliver? Start working like it's already yours, because the ones who act like it belongs to them are the ones who earn it. Most people are chasing attention, praise, applause. They want to be liked, followed, shared. They want their name in lights before they've earned it. But that's not how you build opportunity. That's how you build ego. If you want real success, the kind that lasts, you don't chase the spotlight. You chase the problems no one else wants to deal with. Because here's the truth. The world rewards problem solvers, not praise seekers. The people who create opportunity are the ones who walk into chaos and say, I've got this. They don't just show up for the fun stuff. They show up when things are broken, complicated, messy. They step in when everyone else steps back. You want to be needed, solve something. You want to be irreplaceable, solve something big. Let me give you something real. There was a young guy working at a delivery company. Most drivers just did their routes and clocked out. But this guy noticed something. Packages kept going to the wrong addresses in his zone. Instead of ignoring it, he started mapping patterns, tracking errors, and testing faster, smarter routes. He didn't ask for permission. He didn't do it for praise. He just saw a problem and solved it. 6 months later, he was promoted. A year later, he was running his own dispatch team. 2 years later, he helped build the company's nationwide logistics system. Why? Because he didn't wait to be told what to fix. He saw the fire and walked into it. Opportunity doesn't come to the loudest voice. It comes to the one who brings solutions when everyone else brings complaints. Here's where most people go wrong. They think their value is in what they can show off. But real value, the kind that gets paid, respected, and remembered, comes from impact. And impact starts with this question. What problem can I solve right now with what I know? You don't need a PhD to solve problems. You need eyes that look deeper, ears that actually listen, and a mindset that says, this isn't somebody else's job. This is my opportunity. That's how leaders are made. That's how careers are built. That's how legacies are born. Don't wait for someone to assign you a role. Step up and fill the gap before they even realize it exists. This applies to everything at your job. Don't just do your tasks. Look at the whole system in your business. Don't just sell a product. Solve a real pain in your life. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Solve the discomfort. The secret weapon of every successful person you admire is this. They got good at solving the hard stuff. They didn't avoid it. They didn't blame others. They didn't make excuses. They walked into rooms nobody wanted to enter and fixed what others were afraid to touch. That's where opportunity is hiding. Not in being liked, not in going viral, but in becoming the person who makes things better, faster, cheaper, smarter, stronger. You want people to remember you. Solve something they couldn't. Do it quietly. Do it consistently. And one day, the world won't be able to ignore what you've built. So stop chasing attention chase responsibility, chase excellence, chase the ugly, broken, complicated things and own them. Because when you solve enough problems, you won't have to wait for opportunity anymore. It'll be waiting for you. ChatGPT said, "You know what separates the people who rise from the people who stall. It's not education, it's not experience, it's not even talent, it's courage. Not the kind you post about, but the kind you act on when your stomach's turning, your palms are sweating, and you have no idea what the hell you're doing next." See, most people want certainty before they move. They want the plan fully laid out. They want step-by-step instructions, safety nets, and guarantees. But here's the truth no one wants to hear. That perfect moment doesn't exist. The people who create opportunity, they move before they're ready. They say yes even when they don't have it all figured out. They dive in knowing they'll learn to swim on the way down. You don't grow by playing it safe. You grow by saying, "I've never done this before, but I'm about to find out if I can." There was this kid, 19 years old, offered a chance to pitch an idea to investors. He didn't have a business degree. He'd never even spoken publicly before, but he said yes, stumbled through the pitch, got laughed at, but one guy in that room saw the fire behind the fear. He didn't get the funding that day, but he got a mentor. That mentor taught him the game. 5 years later, that same kid walked back into that same room with a better pitch, a stronger plan, and this time he owned the table, all because he said yes before he was qualified. Here's what you need to understand. If you wait until you feel confident, you'll miss the chance that would have built your confidence. Confidence doesn't come first. Action does. You don't learn by standing still. You don't win by hesitating. You become ready by doing things that scare you over and over until fear stops controlling your life. Say yes to the job that stretches you. Say yes to the speech you don't think you're ready to give. Say yes to the meeting, the project, the pitch, the opportunity, then figure it out like your life depends on it. Because one day, it just might. You want to know why the world respects action takers. Because it takes guts to move through uncertainty. It takes grit to say, "I don't know exactly how, but I'll find a way." And it takes heart to risk failing in public just for the chance to rise. Here's the deal. You'll never be 100% ready. You'll never have all the answers. But if the door cracks open, kick it wide and walk through. Because while everyone else is preparing to prepare, you're out there getting experience. Building momentum, creating your own luck. I've seen people with half the talent and none of the resources win big just because they moved first, just because they were willing to look stupid for a while in order to be great later. Don't be the person who says, "I could have, I should have, I almost did." Be the one who says, "I did it scared, I did it unprepared, I did it anyway." So the next time something comes your way that feels too big, too fast, too much, say yes, then show up like your future depends on it, because the truth is, it does. You're going to hear the word no over and over from people you admire, from people you trusted, from people who swore they believed in you. You'll send the message and get silence. You'll pitch the idea and get laughed at. You'll show up and still be overlooked. And in those moments, something inside you breaks a little, because you gave it everything. You were all in, and still it wasn't enough for them. Good. Because now it's time to understand one of the most powerful truths about building opportunity. Rejection isn't the end, it's redirection. The no you just heard, it wasn't a wall, it was a signpost, a reroute, a divine nudge saying, not this path, but keep walking. Most people hear no and stop. The successful ones hear no and step harder. They use it, they fuel it, they build with it. Think about it. Every person you admire, every single one has been told no more times than they could count. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for TV. Stephen King's first novel was rejected by 30 publishers. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. What did they do? They didn't beg for acceptance. They turned rejection into redirection. They used every no as fuel, every door slammed shut as a reason to build their own. That's what winners do. They stop chasing rooms that don't want them and start building arenas that can't ignore them. So when you hear no, don't shrink, don't spiral, don't second. Guess your worth, double down, use that no as a checkpoint, a moment to ask, what can I sharpen? What can I shift? Where can I go that aligns with my purpose, not just my pride? Rejection has a funny way of revealing what matters. Sometimes it shows you the world wasn't ready for you. Sometimes it shows you you weren't ready yet. And sometimes it just shows you that you were meant to take a different road. But none of those reasons are an excuse to stop. You don't have to be invited. You don't have to be chosen. You have to choose yourself again and again and again when the email doesn't come, when the offer doesn't land. When they say you're not what we're looking for, you look in the mirror and say, that's fine, I wasn't doing it for them anyway. Then you get back to work, because the people who win in life, they've been rejected more than most people have even tried. They've been ignored more than others have shown up, and they kept going not because it was easy, but because they knew the vision was bigger than the opinion. So let them doubt, let them deny, let them dismiss. You just keep building, keep walking, keep rising. One day they'll look back and say, we should have said yes. But by then, you'll be too far ahead to hear them. You ever seen someone walk into a room and just own it? They don't speak first. They don't yell. They don't flex. But the energy, the presence, it hits different. That's not ego. That's not arrogance. That's someone who's done the work internally. Because here's what most people miss about creating opportunity. It starts inside you before it shows up around you. You want the world to believe in you. You've got to carry yourself like someone worth believing in. Not because you're trying to impress people, but because you respect yourself that much. See, there's a gap between who you are and who you want to become. That gap, it's filled with identity, how you speak, how you walk, how you carry yourself when no one's watching, how you treat others when there's nothing to gain. If you're walking around hoping for a shot, hoping someone notices you, hoping you'll finally get the break, you're operating from a place of lack. But when you walk like it's already yours, when you train like you're already that person, when you speak like someone who knows their value, you stop chasing, you start attracting. That's what it means to create opportunity. It's not luck, it's posture, it's energy, it's who you become when no one else is clapping. You ever notice how people with strong energy don't have to say much? They show up and people listen, they speak and people lean in. That comes from alignment, from living in a way that matches what you say you want. You say you want to lead, cool, then start making decisions like a leader. Start taking ownership of your mistakes. Start lifting others up, not just pushing your name forward. You say you want success, then stop talking about it and start embodying it. Wake up with purpose, dress like you're meeting the future, show up early. Deliver consistently, and when no one sees you, work harder. People think they'll become confident after they succeed, but real confidence comes before the win. It's the thing that creates the win. Because when you carry yourself like a professional, even while you're still learning, people treat you like one. When you respect your time, your craft, your body, your word, the world starts to mirror that respect back. And listen, this doesn't mean you fake it. This means you step into the version of you that your goals require. Before the world gives you permission, before the money shows up, before anyone claps, you show up like it's already yours, and then you go to war every day to earn it. That's what I did. That's what every success story you admire did. They didn't wait for confidence. They built it in the dark. They rehearsed when no one was watching. They prepared when no one asked them to. They showed up clean, sharp, focused even when they were broke, doubted, and unknown, and eventually the world couldn't ignore them. So ask yourself, are you walking like a maybe or like a must? Are you speaking like a question or like a statement? Because the world listens to conviction. It follows certainty. It backs those who have already decided, this is who I am and I'm not turning back. Carry yourself like the version of you that already made it. And one day the world will catch up. This is it, the final stretch, the last mile. You've been grinding, you've been building, you've been clawing forward with everything you've got. And now there's one more truth, one more fire you've got to light inside yourself if you're going to create real opportunity in your life. You don't stop, not when it gets hard, not when it gets lonely. Not when it gets quiet, not when no one's clapping, no one's texting back, no one's cheering you on. You keep going, because this journey, it doesn't reward the most talented. It doesn't always reward the smartest. It rewards the one who keeps showing up when others give up. That's the part they don't show you in the highlight reels, the long nights, the self-doubt, the tears you wipe alone, the mornings when you wake up exhausted, but still lace up and go to war with your excuses. You want to build something real, then you've got to fall in love with the grind, not just the goal. Anyone can be motivated when it's easy, but when you're 6 months in and still seeing no results, and you still show up. That's who wins, that's who builds legacy, that's who becomes undeniable. There's a boxer I heard about, fought his way through 50 underground fights. No crowd, no cameras, just blood, sweat, and concrete. Nobody knew his name, nobody paid attention, but he kept fighting, and then one night, boom, he got the call. The promoter said, "We've been watching, you're ready." But here's the thing, he was ready long before they were watching. He didn't train for the call. He trained like the call was coming every single day, whether it did or not. That's the mindset. You don't keep going because you're promised a reward. You keep going because you've become a person who doesn't quit. And that alone, that changes everything. Because when you stop needing external motivation, when the fire lives inside you, when discipline becomes part of your DNA, you become dangerous, unstoppable, unshakable, and yeah, you'll get tired, you'll get tested, you'll lose people, you'll question if it's worth it. But if you stop, you lose everything you've been building, every late night, every early morning, every sacrifice gone. But if you keep going, even crawling, even crying, even if all you can manage is one more rep, one more hour, one more day, you stack enough of those moments, and boom, your opportunity doesn't just arrive. It bows to you because you earned it the hard way, brick by brick, step by step, battle by battle. So when the world finally says you made it, you'll smile and say, "I was already there, you're just catching up." So this is your final command: don't wait. Don't wish, don't hope. Work, build, move, create. You've got everything you need. You don't need a handout. You don't need a miracle. You are the miracle. Now act like it.